I looked at the data that you had and decided that I should just mention a few things that I think would have been in addition to what was there. And so one of the things that I think is very important in terms of describing an institution are also the trends. So for example, our freshman retention rate over the last 5 years has gone up 6 percentage points. And it has been something that has been a deliberate effort on our part because we feel this is a major way to save the taxpayer dollars, and it's much healthier for the student. Obviously, that money goes out the door if a student comes in and then doesn't continue, although some will continue much later. There are some other trends that are interesting. I think we're very high quality and a bargain, an extreme bargain, and I think this is one of the things that is a factor between the quality and the bargain, that if you looked at the trends, you would see the GPA of our incoming class going up and up and up, and our class that we just accepted, the average GPA, weighted after removing all non-academic classes, is over a 4.0. And this is a significant change from what you might see 20 years ago. There's some other trends that I think that are quite interesting that tell us something about the university as well. Those students that are identifying themselves as the first in their family to go to college, they're identifying themselves at Florida State at a rate of 25% of our incoming class. This is a trend that is not changing and is a rather fascinating statistic about the importance of continuing to be accessible and providing high quality education when you start to imagine that that number is still hanging around at such a high level. Another thing that I would add, I would echo the comments about the employment of our students. It's hard to track the ones that go out of state. Significant number go to higher education institutions out of state. They may come back, but I'm confident that our employment is much better than the national average and the state average. The last thing I would add is sort of a different kind of characteristic, is that we're working really diligently to create a much higher level of engagement for our students. If you are engaged in worthwhile activities for 10 to 20 hours a week, you do not get into trouble. Your grade point tends to be higher. You have a different set of friends. You tend to be happier. If that engagement is worthwhile, we believe it translates into good jobs. I'm talking about internships, study abroad, one-on-one research. We're an institution that is very deliberately focusing on that as a way to change the type of education that we deliver. And it is paying off in a lot of other different ways. You may be interested to know that Florida has had 5 Rhodes finalists in the last 5 years, all at FSU, including 3 that did become Rhodes Scholars. So this is an institution that is working very hard at this high level of engagement. If you picked a couple of things that were unique, we have Florida's only national laboratory, the Mag Lab. Tremendous amount of research comes out there. It makes us the leader in the state in the National Science Foundation, major STEM funder in this nation. We also have a remarkably distributed arts program. I believe that we have a significant impact on the quality of life of this state, speaking broadly, as well as industry, between the Oslo Theater, the Ringling Museum, now bringing digital domain as a major force for digital movies, as well as Florida State having top-ranked programs in every part of the fine arts. So here's this tremendous focus on science and a tremendous focus on arts. And I should also say that I think one of the other things that is unique is that this legislature has put forth 2 programs related to related to K through 12 education. One for improvement in reading and focusing on improving schools that are struggling K through 12, and STEM education. And we've been rewarded in the last 2 years by 2 federal grants, one at $26 million and one at about $37 or $38 million, focused on those areas. And we are really becoming a hub for how to improve STEM education. That also includes something called FSU Teach, which is transforming STEM education in K through 12 for a very different reason. That is, we've always had someone in education learning how to teach, and someone in physics learning physics, and we are putting those together. So if you go to an undergraduate physics class, you can discover that the TA will be an education major as part of FSU Teach. So that teacher knows exactly what's expected of a physics student coming out of high school to take physics at a college level. So those are just some examples of what I would say are things you wouldn't pick up in the statistics that you have there.
Thank you. Could we move now into your thoughts on STEM, both from the point of your institution and also statewide system? How should we react to it? What do you recommend?
Okay, so I am a scientist, and so this has been part of my life for a very long time. I'm obviously a huge fan. I think it has tremendous potential as an economic driver. I think that's proven to us over and over again by what I would view as the powerful research universities that are out there. I think that we have to be deliberate about how we approach this. Math camps, to make sure that people have those math skills, otherwise they drop out early. I think one of the things that we're watching is that if you are in a state like ours where the STEM preparation is perhaps half the number of students going in as, say, a northeastern state, that we have to make sure not only that we attract students, but if we have someone that's interested in a STEM major, we have to make sure that we don't lose them. And we lose a tremendous number of those students in their first year. Now, one of the ways that we're trying to do this is actually, instead of having a big lecture hall, and I'll use physics as an example, to have studio physics that works the same way, where the lecture is minimized and almost all of the learning is collaborative, working deliberately on experiments that deliver the concepts that you have. And we're discovering in developing these studio physics class that these students are far above other students in what their thinking skills are and their ability to advance. So I think we have to do something very deliberate, and we would like to do it over and over again. Right now we give students a choice. I think we'll come to the point where we don't give them a choice because we really have discovered what works. The other thing is and it's part of this engagement idea, is to have more and more students that do one-on-one research with faculty members. One-on-one research with faculty members, and it costs you something, but one-on-one research with faculty members is also a gateway to completing a STEM degree and going on to higher graduate level courses in STEM. So we have an enormous number of projects. We're trying to actually, as a philanthropic effort, to increase the number of opportunities there because it makes a huge difference. Another thing we're doing is to focus on what we call FIGs, freshman interest groups, in STEM fields. Because a freshman interest group, now you're putting together a freshman and you know that they're all interested in STEM and interested in even similar majors in STEM, and they start to become a community right away from the dorm. And they have an interaction with students that have already gone through and provide a kind of mentorship, and including graduate students, and a different relationship with faculty. All of those things, I think, start to make a big difference. Academic maps that tell a student exactly what it takes to finish and to do so in a timely fashion is also something that we have to deliver to make it easier. STEM fields are ones where it's a cumulative knowledge base, and if you lose out in there, then you've taken 2 steps backwards. So to be very deliberate about providing that academic map, and then when you have a student that falls off the map, you're knocking on their door, literally, electronically knocking on their door. Why did you fall off the map with what you registered for? Because we know it will take them longer. So we need to make sure that they're going to be successful and know the outcomes. The last thing I'd put on the list is we need to be good. We need to be good in all of those disciplines. I mean, I'm very proud of the fact that that we have such strong STEM programs at Florida State University. I would you know, add in here with Bernie, although he's not here. Florida State and UF have top 100, all universities included in the privates, top 100 STEM programs in almost every field based on our ability to attract external research dollars. So Florida State is first in the state in computer sciences, physics, math, and psychology. And UF is first in chemistry and in engineering. But each of our institutions is in the top 100 in the nation. And so if you want to attract people, part of this focus is that people know that you have number 9 ranked physics program in terms of external funding in this nation, including all institutions. So they're not thinking that Georgia Tech is the place that they should be going, but instead that they have excellent universities in this state in STEM fields. And I think it's too much of a secret in some ways. So that is my list of the things that I think a university can be doing and should be doing to promote
Let me
STEM.